Welcome back, Fantasy Fiction Fanatics. It's great to see you again, and I hope you're doing well. Today, I thought it would be fun, in light of the holiday season, to give you some suggestions on some gifts that would be great to give the person who is a fantasy fanatic in your life. Gifts or things that you yourself as a fantasy fanatic might want to ask for Christmas or for whatever holiday you celebrate, in order to receive them as well and be like, that's what I'd like. Somebody can give me this, if you're running out of ideas, to let them know. Or if you need a last minute gift for somebody. I do recognize it is a little bit later in the holiday season for shopping and that it is becoming a little bit more last minute, but I still thought this would be fun to create, to give you some ideas if you are still looking for gifts, or maybe for the future, any other kind of gift. You can always save these ideas for later if you already have shopped for your fantasy fanatic at this time. If you end up liking this list and find it helpful, I'd love a thumbs up from you. And if you're not part of the community already, we'd love it if you'd subscribe and join us for some more fantasy fanatic discussions in the future. So hopefully you enjoy, and hopefully I have some nice suggestions for you. Okay, I've got quite a few different kind of suggestions in different kind of areas, so let's get started right away. The first area that I think is kind of beyond just books and things like that, that's most obvious, is decor. I know, at least for me as a fantasy fanatic, I like having some touches of fantasy here and there around my house with decor, and I've loved that since I was a kid. Like, always liked having different kinds of posters and statues and decor elements, and so I thought I'd share some ideas with you for that. As far as it goes for statues, figurines, something that's an actual physical item that stands in your home, I think it really depends on what you know this fantasy lover likes. There's a couple different options. For me, as you know, if you've watched me for a while, I love dragons. I've got several of them. One's right here on my bookshelf that I have all the time. It's a dragon reading a book while standing on a book, but this one's perfect, especially because I love to read, and so a person who really loves reading fantasy might enjoy something like that. But a dragon in general is just a very classic piece. I can also show you this one. This one is right now on the cover picture for the channel of me holding this. It's a little bit dusty. I should have done a little bit better job dusting it off. This actually was labeled as the bookshelf guardian, and the cool thing about this one is, though I don't have anything right now in it, it does have a cubby for holding things, but it just looks super awesome. This dragon is amazing, and it just looks so cool. The backside also has the jewel, or the gem. Hopefully you can see that. So it's really super cool. I love this piece a lot. And of course, I keep it on my main bookshelf that I have in the other room. So definitely a good piece there. If your fantasy lover is not as into dragons as I am, or you think they want something that's a little bit different, there is always good fairy or mermaid based statues that I've seen a lot, or mugs, other things that have designs to it. This is another one that I keep on my main bookcase. I think it is amazing, with this crescent moon and the fairy that is sitting on it. You can see her wings here. It's got a cat, everything. She's just super regal, super cool. I love this piece so much. It's a great option if you think that that's more your fantasy fanatic style. Or I've got this one for a long time too. This is a candle holder. It has the candle part here and the fairy sitting in a meadow. So I've had this one so long. This is from back when I was like elementary school, middle school. So it's seen its little bit of wear and tear. It's, you know, it's needs help a little bit, but I still love it. I still keep it. As long as you leave it on the shelf, it still looks beautiful. So even your young fantasy fanatic can have something that might be fun to decorate his or her room for, if you just go ahead and take a little time to look and see what's out there. So for figurines, you know, there is a lot of different selections. Whatever you think that they would really like, I think you can find something pretty easy that's going to be cool. And none of this was that expensive when I bought it. I don't remember the exact prices since I've had them for a while, but I do know they were no more than $50. So I feel like in general, as far as figurines go, they can be very, very pricey, but you don't have to go that pricey into hundreds of dollars to get something that looks nice and is affordable as well. Another option is something like this. This is from an Etsy shop. This one, my mom, and I've got another one right here, my mom gave to me. It's from an Etsy shop of somebody who handcrafts bookshelves that are decor pieces, and they print out the actual books from the author that you like and adds little details, and they put it in whatever order you tell them to. So you could always do an order like this from the Etsy shop in order to create a bookshelf with either one series or multiple series of books that you know is your Fanatic's favorite. This one is a Jim Butcher's Harry Dresden files, as well as I have one that's the Marcy Thompson and Alpha Omega series on this one by Patricia Briggs. So excellent one. And they also, the Etsy shop I know does also let you either do whatever bits and bobs they want to put on it, or you can also submit your own, send in your own little elements to add to the bookcase and they'll add it. So it looks super, super nice. Next is another option is if your Fanatic likes posters or things to hang on the wall, you could do a fantasy map. Like, oop, I'm holding it upside down, of course I am. Like Narnia. So this is an option of like a Narnia map that you can hang on their wall. If your Fanatic loves Lord of the Rings, let me open this first to make sure I'm opening it right. There are easy ways to get a map of Middle-earth. They're super, super easy to get. They're decent quality. I know that my brother at one time had a felt version of this, so it was fabric instead of plasticky paper. So those are options for more decor that's not something that has to physically sit somewhere but can just be on the wall as a decoration. And last but not least, of course, there's always the decor of bookmarks. So if your fantasy Fanatic loves to read, loves to have those actual physical books, and uses bookmarks, that is a great idea for adding a little spice and decor to their reading to be able to see that when they're reading. So if you're looking for decor, there's plenty of options, lots of good ones. Hopefully this gave you a couple of suggestions that you like and are considering. Next, if your Fanatic is a reader, books are always a great option, in my opinion. I know as I was growing up, I always had like 20 books that were on my wish list of things to get, and I usually would get several books since books are a cheaper gift to get. You can always get the newest book in their current series that they're reading, or one that you know is their top author and they come out with a new book that they haven't got yet. Perfect chance to go ahead and get it for them. If you're looking for just something new for them, that they already have all the books that they're kind of reading right now, you can go ahead and check out any of the books that I've recommended on this channel to see if you might want to give one of them to them, and I can link that for you, that playlist. But some items from this year would be, if you're looking for like a young adult, I thought this book Spice Road by Maya Ibrahim was super good this year. So if you have a young adult reader, I really recommend that one. I thought it was excellent. I also really liked Dead Man's Hand by James J. Butcher. Excellent book as well. Really loved it. That was at the end, I think, of last year is when that came out. So that's an excellent choice for a newer book for them to try out. Also, really, truly love Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree, which is a prequel to Legends and Lattes. This book, it was not quite as amazing as the first book, Legends and Lattes, but it was still super good. So if they've read Legends and Lattes and you're looking for something that's similar to that, the author did come out with another book called Bookshops and Bone Dust, and I think that that would also be a nice, easy read for somebody. Again, I'll link the playlist of all my book recommendations and book reviews so that way you can go ahead and have a chance to check out some of those other videos to get some more detailed descriptions and detailed thoughts on those books and what I recommend or don't. Also, though, on the terms of books that you might not have considered is if your fantasy fanatic really likes to cook or bake, there are cookbooks that you can get that are based off of popular fantasy series or just of the fantasy genre in general. I know like Game of Thrones has cookbooks out there, Dungeons and Dragons has cookbooks out there, there's some for fantasy type games out there. There's tons of cookbooks that you can look at. Harry Potter, again, the list goes on. So if your fanatic really loves cooking, I think they would really like to maybe explore some of those recipes from stories that they really enjoy. All right, next is going to be movies or shows of some kind. I know it's kind of not the age of owning movies or TV shows, but I personally really like that because what if the streaming service doesn't hold that story anymore and they end up taking it off their service and there's no way to watch it anymore? So for me, I'm definitely a physical copy owner if I really love the series or the movies. So maybe if you think that's a good idea for your fanatic. 10th Kingdom, hands down, is an excellent choice in my opinion, and it's one that I think is lesser known, so super great mini TV series there. I thought the newest Dungeons and Dragons movie was really great. That's a nice selection if that person has not seen it. As well as there's other movies and TV shows out there that I will link that I've done several different videos about what I like, what I don't like, movies that are adaptations of books, things like that. So let me go ahead and link that to you, but that's definitely a good idea. In my book, I always am excited to receive a physical copy of a movie or a TV show that I really like and that I know I'm going to want to watch again. Next is ideas for the video game lover in your life, the one that likes fantasy and also likes the video games. There are several different selections, and it depends a little bit on how intense of a gamer you are. Because for me, I'm more of the less intense of a gamer. I'm not doing all the really hardcore games. I'm doing more of the simpler games. That's what I really like. But of course, there are many options for people who really like the more intense video games and are more intense gamers like Dark Souls and Final Fantasy and all of those kind of things. As far as a recommendation from Greg, my fiance would definitely recommend Baldur's Gate. So he's played it so many different times. So if you love fantasy, you love Dungeons and Dragons, that game apparently is amazing. He's telling me all the time about what he's doing. He's played it like 4 times through. Definitely think that you should check out Baldur's Gate. But from my personal experience, I think if you have a Switch, Zelda is a great option. Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, also any of the older ones if you have ways to play those older ones. I'm really a big fan of the Zelda series, so if you like puzzle games and you like fantasy elements, I think you would like Zelda. If you like more simplified games that are just more like family friendly, any Mario game is going to be a fantasy story with just more basic, the jumping obstacles and more simplified type stories, though Mario can also have a little bit more meat to it as well. But those are all fantasy games. As well as Overcooked. Overcooked is a great one if you like to do cooking related games, but also has those fantasy elements as the different stages are very unusual and have lots of things going on. And you have even avatars that are not humans that can cook for you. So it's a little bit more on the lighter of the fantasy, but it does have those fantasy elements to it. Next is one that I really like, and I really wish I could get the GameCube version again, because that one was the best one in my opinion. But the series of Gauntlet is really good. It's got so many different kinds of characters you can play as, and you can play through the campaign, and it's just super, super fun, and you're just killing bad guys and going through the story. So Gauntlet is one that I truly, truly enjoy, and again, I really wish the GameCube version would come back because that one was the best. But of course, all Gauntlet ones are pretty cool. And last but not least is Castle Crashers. This one is a little bit more of a simplified game where you're just going through the story and going like through the map one way. But you're killing enemies, you're knights that are trying to save these princesses that have been kidnapped, and you're fighting for their love. So it's really fun. It's got a lot of different kind of creatures and things going on. Definitely has magic and fantasy elements, so I think it's a really fun one. And you can play up to 4 players, so it's definitely one you can play with your family or friends if you're interested in that as well. So of course, there's a lot of good games out there. There are lots of things to try, but these are some of my personal favorites and ones that I highly recommend. Whew, all right, I feel like I'm just breezing through this list. Hopefully it's helpful for you. Of course, let me know if you liked any of these suggestions. I've got one last little section left, which is subscriptions. So maybe you might want to buy a couple months of a subscription for the person in your life. And the 2 that I recommend are based on if they like books specifically. So Kindle Unlimited is the first one. It's not too expensive. When I was signed up for it, it was $10 a month. They could have changed the price since then. I'm not subscribed at the moment, but it's definitely one I'm going to go back to being subscribed to because I do really enjoy it. It doesn't have all of the top authors on it. It's more of the less unknown authors, but it's definitely good for lots of different elements. They have a lot of fantasy on there, and so if you're just looking for a way to have like a lot of different books you can read and try out different authors, Kindle Unlimited is a nice subscription to gift to somebody, at least a couple months of it. Same thing for Audible, as if instead of physically reading, your reader likes to listen more than actually read it, or prefers that method. Audible might be a good suggestion in the fact that they can have free ones, and every month I know that you get a free book to keep with the subscription. So it's potentially a very good investment to give them a couple months to start off with and to see if they like Audible or not. Whew, all right, I feel like I gave you so much information and just blasted it at you, but these are some of my suggestions, and I hope some of them help you, and maybe you can let me know if you already picked out some of these kind of things for somebody in your life who loves fantasy. You can let me know if you like these kind of things, or if maybe you're going to select something like this for the person that you're still needing a last-minute gift for. And I hope that your holiday season is going well. I am so happy that Christmas is coming up. It's my very favorite holiday. And this year in my house, I have a full physical tree since I have moved out of my parents' house many, many years ago. I was not able to have a full-size Christmas tree in my house, or sometimes I was not even living in my own place. I had roommates, so it was much harder. So for me, I'm super excited for this Christmas since I now have my very own full-size tree that I decorated and get to enjoy. So hopefully you are enjoying something exciting for this holiday season, and I'd love to hear what it is, and love to hear your thoughts on the holiday season in general, and I will definitely see you guys in the next one. All right, bye.